What is going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. This past week, DICE has done a lot in regards to Incursions. They've given out a Q&A with one of their lead developers, and today, January 25th, they actually added a new map into the Incursions testing mode. Now, that new map is a very familiar and very popular map amongst the Battlefield 1 community, and that is Amiens. So, had a chance to try that out today, as well try out the new game mode that they released with it. So, that new game mode is called Squad Breakthrough, and it's essentially the exact same thing of operations, just scaled down all the way to accommodate 5 versus 5 player mode. So, there is an attacking and defending side. And instead of there being 2 flags you'd have to capture, you're only going to capture 1 flag. On specifically Amiens, there are 3 sectors that you have to take. So the first flag is generally right around where you would see C flag on conquest mode. And then all the way over to the second flag, you're going to see it around where E flag would be on conquest mode. And then pushing all the way up to its final flag is where generally just a little bit off where F flag would be at inside of the building. So each side will get 1 chance to attack, and then the other side will get its chance to defend. So this swaps between rounds right now, and there are 2 rounds in the game, so each team gets a chance to attack and each team gets a chance to defend. So for the most part, playing it, definitely fun to see it on Amiens. It's definitely a good call in my opinion that they brought this sooner than later. It isn't heavily as tweaked as we saw with the first 2 maps that DICE has released in this alpha testing mode, which was Giant Shadow as well as Sinai. However, we'll see what they have planned for us over here in the future. So now in their Q&A earlier this week, DICE gave out a little bit more information on what we'll be seeing in Incursions. However, the big question, of course, which is when we're going to see this come out in the game at all, DICE didn't really respond to that at all and give us anything solid. I mean, even the question that was asked gave a time span between if we'll see this in 6 months or to a year's worth of time. And DICE replied and said, "We are not ready to announce the answer to this question yet, but don't worry, the announcement will come in a not too distant future." So, I mean, not too distant future. I'm hoping it's not 6 months. I mean, it's made us feel like it's been that long, and that it will take that long. And it would have been nice for DICE to say, we're not going to give you a specific date, but definitely not a year's worth of time. And we're hoping that it won't be 6 months or something like that. Would have been nice. But I'm thinking that normally DICE doesn't like to advertise too much on their future DLCs until they're finished up their next DLC they want to release. So, I mean, we still haven't even finished up the second half of Turning Tides yet. And then we have our Apocalypse DLC to come out. So I would expect probably after the Apocalypse DLC drops to see some more solid information on this. At least that's what I'm hoping. But who really knows? I mean, at the end of the day, Incursions is very different from the base game, even to its gameplay style of it. So if they follow that exact same direction with everything else, the Incursions mode may come out very differently than how they've done in the past in regards to their DLCs. Now, there's something we know for certain, that this Incursions mode won't be like DICE's previous DLCs, and that is it will be free for all players with the base game of Battlefield 1 to access. So unlike our DLCs in the past where you had to have premium pass, for Incursions mode you won't need that in order to play this. So that is definitely good to hear, and it's something that I hope that if it does get released after the Apocalypse DLC, that DICE slowly begins to bring out all of the maps that were in those DLCs in a type of reamped way for Incursions. As of right now, we only have 3 maps for this specific game mode, so it would be nice to see DICE bringing these maps into this game as they kind of have done in the past, where they recently have been bringing in all the maps into the game mode front lines. DICE has already alluded a little bit about this, but it seems like they want to still maintain their focus on the maps that they're already on right now. But again, I would like to see this in the future, especially because of the variations of maps we've already experienced already. I mean, think of a Fort de Vaux like on Incursions, where it's just a pure infantry mode, or maybe go on to other maps like Soissons, where it's more of a heavily vehicle favored mode. So to watch them kind of flip back and forth between these different type of play styles in regards to which maps they are using, I think is very intriguing, as well as very Battlefield like. There were questions if we'd see exclusive battle packs just for Incursions, or what the reward systems would be like if they would transfer over to the base game. And it seems like DICE has said that they do want to bring in exclusive battle packs for this, and they are looking into rewards and how they would transfer over to the base game. But they're kind of hesitant in regards to that, just because it seems like they're not quite clear how this is going to be introduced into Battlefield 1, if it's going to be part of the base Battlefield 1 game, or if it's going to be kind of a separate game in itself, and what are the technical issues in regards to transferring over different stuff that is from one game to another game completely. So we've kind of seen this already with our community test environment. If you had gotten a chance to download that already, you had to go into whichever store that's on your system and then go download that, and it was just a completely separate game from the Battlefield 1 game in itself. So it could be something like that, and if that's the case, they have to work over the technical requirements in order to relay information from whatever you're getting from your Incursions game back over to your base Battlefield 1 game. So definitely an interesting concept, and something I do hope they're able to make work out. It would be nice to see some type of progression that we can get that would relay over to stuff, whether it be dog tags or melee weapons or whatever. They might be able to bring out different skins that we could see show up in just the base version of Battlefield 1. Now finally, I want to briefly talk about some things I'm liking what they're doing in the Incursions mode, and the things I'm not liking as of right now. So the one big thing that I am liking is right now on the alpha testing mode, they actually have a testing area where you can actually go in and practice, and you don't have to go straight into a match. And in this practice mode, you're able to access all the kits and actually fire them at dummies, and just get a general feel of the maps that you're playing on. And I think this is definitely going to be a big thing if this rolls out for the actual base version of Incursions, because this a general sense of this game mode itself is very different than what you're experiencing already on Battlefield 1. And you would want players to be ahead of the curve already, hopefully testing this already in the alpha mode, or hopefully watching videos of other people playing this, but that's most likely not going to happen for everyone. And especially this being a competitive mode, you wouldn't want people just to run on in there and expect they know everything what's going on. It would be a nice little place for them to test things out before they jump into the fire and not get themselves burnt too bad. I mean, you're definitely gonna feel a big difference when you play this for the first time, but it would be nice to eliminate a little bit of the trauma that you're going to experience the moment you begin to jump into your first match. So I definitely like that. I hope to see that in the base version of Incursions when it comes out. But moving on to the things I don't like. So right now they have something called a blind draft. And essentially that is at the very beginning of the game when you're choosing the class you're going to play with. You cannot see the enemy's classes. So you kind of figure out what class they chose as the game begins to start, and you're stuck with that class throughout the end of the full game. So that's something I'm not quite liking. I'm not sure if I want to go on the other side of it and have you be able to swap classes the moment you die, like how it is already for the Battlefield 1 base game. But I would like to see something during halftime where you can make an adjustment and switch classes during that time. I've always made mention of this when I'm playing the game, that I've always noticed that if I'm ever going on like high kill streaks or something like that, that I always have to watch out for enemy players who try to adjust against me. And that's usually what catches me off guard, and what usually will probably end my streaks, is that an enemy player figures out another way to approach me, and if I'm doing really well, he'll make one adjustment, choosing maybe a different class, and that'll be a way for him to take me out. So I really think that would be very helpful, and you won't have someone who's completely maybe made a bad choice, found someone who's really using the kit really well, and he thinks, man, if only I was able to use that other kit right there, that would maybe help me tip the balance a little bit. So having that one little option there, I think, would kind of just balance out the playing field a little bit more, because people can make a mistake. Someone could be using the kit really well, and I think leaving that adjustment just right in there would really kind of show that that person who is using that kit really well can handle that adjustment the player has made during halftime. And if he is able to do that, really does show his skill, rather than him maybe doing it really well against a player who probably chose maybe an inferior kit against that other kit, and might be able to make an adjustment midway through that might again help tip the balance. So this was a question that was brought up in the Q&A about this, and DICE says they are monitoring this and they are having this discussion already. So I would like to have a discussion with you guys as well. So feel free to let me know down in the comments below if you like this kind of blind draft, not be able to change up your class and you're stuck with it the rest of the game. If you want to go on the complete other side of the spectrum and go like the base version of Battlefield 1 where you're able to swap classes the moment you die, or you like my approach where you like something in between right at halftime when you're swapping from maybe the defending to attacking side, that you have the option to choose from different classes from there. But again, feel free to let me know how you feel about this down in the comments below. But that's it for you guys today. I appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin', and I will catch you guys again later. Peace.